How's it going, guys? It's Kass. As always, if you've been enjoying my content, then hit that subscribe button. So today we got some very interesting news about TCG items and about Twitch drops. My history around the trading card game is actually pretty interesting. I actually opened the white camel from the packs directly. On top of that, during probably the most boring part of WoW at the end of Warlords of Draenor, these items were extremely cheap, and I spent a ton of time farming gold in order to get these. Getting the Magic Rooster for like 300,000 gold is probably one of the most memorable things I've done in World of Warcraft. Today we got some interesting news around these TCG items from Blizzard through these Twitch drops. Starting November 15th at 10 a.m. PST, you're going to gain access to your first TCG item through the Dragonflight pet. This is a pet that has a few different colors whenever you summon it. It follows you around. It's a pretty cool pet, and it was actually worth around 500,000 gold at one point. Obviously, these prices are going to go down substantially and probably continue to go down until this event is over. And maybe in the future, the prices might go up, but it's never going to be the same as it was before. We'll talk more about that at the end of the video. This drop will continue until November 17th at midnight. So you have basically 2 days to watch 4 hours of a Twitch stream. As long as you've watched 4 hours of a Twitch stream that has drops active for Dragonflight, you will be able to claim this reward. The second drop that you're going to have access to is actually a TCG mount this time, and that is going to be on November 28th at 10 a.m. PST. So the same day that Dragonflight launches, you're going to gain access to the Feldrake mount through the same way, watching 4 hours of a Twitch stream that has drops active, and this will go on for that same 2-day period where you can gain access to this mount. Again, this is a mount that is worth a decent amount of gold now, and one that I personally have, so I will talk about this one specifically in depth after we get through the last Twitch drop, which is happening on December 13th at 10 a.m. PST, and this is continuing until December 28th, so you have a much longer time frame to actually do this drop. All you have to do is watch 2 hours of a content creator that has drops active, and you'll gain access to the Perpetual purple Firework. The interesting thing about this specific toy is that this toy actually can only be received through the UDE points, which is kind of like bonus points as you got just for opening up the packs. And this was actually discontinued in 2010. So even if you bought packs today or a few years ago, you weren't able to redeem them for anything. So having this one actually come back is pretty cool, just because there's a lot of people that got screwed over with either buying packs at a later time or not redeeming their points right away that could not gain access to this reward. So let's talk about the elephant in the room then, and that is re-releasing TCG items through other measures outside of the trading card game. And for this specific situation, I'm actually kind of okay with it. And the reason why I am is because this allows everyone to gain access to it that actually wants to invest the time to actually do this. This is not something that's going to cost people money. It's only going to cost people time. And I think honestly, that's perfectly fine. There was a lot worse ways of actually doing this, and I think we all know what that way is, and that would be re-releasing TCG items in the specific store itself, or even as promo alongside subscriptions like we've seen in the past. A lot of people will bring up the Chinese realms selling the Swift Spectral Tiger. That happened a while ago. That was specifically for classic realms only. When you actually look at the post, you can see for a 6-month sub, you got the Swift Spectral Tiger in Classic, which is pretty insane, but you did not get the Swift Spectral Tiger in retail. What you got in retail was When Low, which is something you can buy in the store right now for $25. I'm not sure if this is still the case, but at some point there was the ability to buy the Nether Rocket Extreme, the Magic White Rooster, the Woolly White Rhino, the Dragon Kite, and the Spectral Tiger Cub in the Chinese Wrath Classic shop as well. So at that point, you could buy some of the more exclusive items for Classic WoW. And honestly, I think any time that you can buy a specific item in the Classic iteration of the game, I think is perfectly fine. And the reason why that is because you can't actually get access to these items at all in WoW Classic because the way that the redemption works. How it works is you get the specific card for the item that you want in the game. That card has a code on it. You take that code to a website, you redeem it on the server that you're on, you go in game to the Landro NPC in Booty Bay, and you redeem it. The website that actually does the codes themselves is not something that has been updated for Classic WoW, so you cannot gain these items in Classic WoW outside of the shop specifically, which is why I think it's perfectly fine. If there was a way that you could get these items in Classic WoW aside from the shop, I would feel slightly different, but honestly, it's been a ton of time since then. Realistically, it only promotes people going out and spending a ton of money to gain access to vanity items in Classic. And anytime Blizzard is in a point where they could be making money instead of a third party, obviously Blizzard's going to try to be the person that's making the money there. When it comes to retail, it's obviously different because there's people that have spent a ton of time either farming gold or spending the money to buy these cards through either the TCG or through the secondary markets to actually gain access to these items. For me personally, I have a few TCG mounts, some of which I spent a ton of time in WoD farming, specifically the Magic Rooster. That's one of the memories that I have the most. And I think for people that have the story that I have, where you spent a lot of time actually going through, grinding up the currency to gain the mounts, that is something that's kind of makes it suck when those items are just given to people. I have the Feldrake. I spent the same time that I spent grinding up the Magic Rooster to get the Feldrake. The main difference here is that the Feldrake is a mount that is not that great. It's a mount that personally I probably won't ever use that often once more people have access to it. That is just how it works. If a mount is more rare, you're going to use it more often. There's a reason why people in Wrath of the Lich King now are going to be loving riding around on Time Lost Proto-Drake, whereas now everyone and their mom has Time Lost as long as you know how to get it the easiest way possible. This is a pretty important part when it comes to the life of TCG items in World of Warcraft and the general idea of them as an investment. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people right now that have a ton of these items that are genuinely afraid that their investments are going to be completely worthless. And for those people, hopefully that'll actually make them sell them instead of just trying to continually inflate the prices. Aside from those people, the idea of re-releasing TCG items I think is really cool. I think it gives people a chance to get very sought after items in a different form, which is great. The one thing that I would like to see change though is the lazy implementation of it. I would love for them to introduce redone versions of these TCG items as Twitch drops. That would be great, not only for the streamers that get the tons of viewership for it, but also for the players to get new cool mounts. But then also for the people that have the old versions of these mounts, it'll still be that really cool item that you have that isn't that item that everyone else has. And I think that's something that Blizzard could do that could really appease everyone. You get a cool mount through drops, but you also don't just shun out all of the people that already had the vanity items and spent the time and effort to get these items in the past. It's similar to what they did with the Black Battle Tank and the Black War Tank. You gave people that had the Black Battle Tank already the Black War Tank, which was just an updated version of that model, and it was a completely different mount. I think if you did something similar with these and did like TCG inspired mounts that were new updated models that looked good in the current game, on top of still having the old models in the game, it would be much better for everyone involved. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on these drops specifically. If they're going to be something you're going to take the time to do, obviously. I'm sure most of you will be doing these. And I'd also like to hear the opinions of those people that already have a lot of these TCG items when it comes to re-releasing them or making new versions of them. As always, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, F5 refresh, try it again. Maybe you'll like it the second time. Have a good one.